Switzerland, Sportland. The words are almost synonymous. For here in this beautiful little country, sports rank second only to the dignity, integrity, and love of peace that have made the nation great. Strength and grace are a national heritage. Aquatic sports are among Switzerland's favorites, and one of the world's outstanding rowing courses is the Rote See at Lucerne. This long, narrow lake provides ideal conditions. Both shell and boat racing here are highlights of the International Rowing Regatta. The four-man shells line up for a perfect start in this perfect setting. Flashing oars, magnificently synchronized muscles, shells skimming the water as lightly as a floating leaf. But this is one of the toughest, most exhausting competitions in the entire world of sport. Without a stroke missed, the winner crosses the line to the cheers of the crowd. Things get bigger and better with the 8-man shells on view for one of the classics of shell racing. It would be difficult to compute the strength of those 16 brawny arms in horsepower or kilowatts, but there's plenty there. This is the most important event of the International Regatta, with the large shells competing for the championship of Europe. In this performance, they all look like champions. The crew in the yellow shirts are of the Italian Society of Racing, who have won the championship in previous competition, and they're doing mighty well right now. Sure enough, they win. Switzerland, scenically, is without question one of the loveliest of all European countries. The beautiful Lauterbrunnen Valley, from which the little trains ascend the magnificent Jungfrau, a fairy tale scene come to life. This is the resort village of Wengen, a superb spot for sports, nestled among the mountains. Here, tennis is popular and comfortable, despite the snow-covered mountains in the background. Swimming, too, is fine fun and pleasantly warm. This is sheer, unalloyed pleasure in a setting that might have sprung intact from the mind of an artist. Happy children, beautiful country, a wonderful, wholesome charm everywhere. Local horse shows are a favorite form of entertainment in the towns. Here in the village of Grindelwald, civilian and Swiss Army jumpers compete, and the skill in evidence is considerable. Horse and man move like one unit. From this demonstration, it seems that the Swiss Army takes its cavalry seriously. But don't sell the civilians short. This red-coated sportsman isn't going to have to take any lessons. Neither is his horse. The Army fights on, however, and seems to be doing all right. That form would be hard to beat, judges? Right, and sure enough, he takes a ribbon. Switzerland's top gymnastic competition takes place at Zug. Visitors find a gay welcome, complete with music, men and pretty girls in ancient costume. In accordance with custom, wine is served the arriving champions, and a representative takes a ceremonial drink. The entire ritual of arrival and welcome is colorful and charming, and symbolic of Swiss friendliness. The flags and flowers, the parade through the streets, the general air of well-being and good fellowship make Zug a truly festival spot for this meet. In the highest of spirits, the Zug citizens, the champions, and the bands march on to the athletic field, where there's still more music to herald the opening of competition. Gymnastic performance on the horizontal bars may sound offhand like a somewhat tame sport, but it isn't, at least not as done by these sturdy Swiss experts. Not only does this call for great strength, but there's wonderful rhythm and grace in these movements. Yes, a top-flight exhibition. Flying rings, too, demand a mighty amount of power, but these fellows have the kind of skill that makes anything look easy. Here again is real poetry of motion, perfect control and timing. To really appreciate this muscular merry-go-round, You must remember that the rings have a tendency to lead lives of their own. A second's lack of proper balance and they can get away from the gymnast and he's in trouble. However, that's a problem these sure-handed lads don't have to worry about. To get more or less on the ground, let's see what happens with these non-hay-eating horses. This, too, calls for highly developed form and technique, and the gymnasts have all of both that's necessary. This is not recommended for the tired businessman or anybody else, except these well-trained muscle boys. A very handsome performance. Of all the tricks of the gymnast's trade, none is more exciting than work on the parallel bars. And of all the athletes to show you just how it's done, none could be more adept than these champions of Switzerland. These gymnastic routines are prime examples of what years of training and concentration can do. You may safely assume that these performers have been at this since they were mighty small. That coordination, strength, and control can't be developed except through years of well-directed, conscientious effort. Effort that pays off here in sheer perfection. Ordinarily, when a ring star is mentioned, the term refers to a boxer. Well, here's another ring king who's no less talented. Maneuvers like this fellow knocks off in his easy fashion would leave many another kind of athlete on the ropes. Of course, he's on the ropes, but that's exactly where he belongs. Right at home, too. This he deserves. Comes now a one-man show in the horizontal bar department. Probably every kid who ever lived has tried some of these stunts on the limb of a backyard tree and come down with a couple of sore muscles. So figure out for yourself what this takes. Is there a bottle of liniment in the house? Right, give him a big hand. In slow motion, this could be part of a ballet. There's certainly nothing lacking in rhythm and timing. Anybody who's this good must love his work. This performance might be described as the pleasure of power and the power of pleasure. Yes, sir, a star on the bar and a champ of whom Switzerland can be proud. This sport is a very familiar one, although it doesn't bear very much resemblance to the kind of wrestling seen in other parts of the world. Yes, this looks like the Swiss version of the real McCoy. This team isn't kidding either. There's real honest effort in every one of those tugs and heaves. It almost seems like these boys don't even belong to Actors' Equity. Somebody's riding for a fall here. And sure enough, the referee calls it. Yes, this is a country where physical competition is held high, both for its healthful aspects and its development of true sportsmanship. Truly and delightfully Switzerland, Sportland.